Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm so glad to standing here today. Last few months, we were really working very hard. Because Hyojong trip was the most important thing we were doing for several months. And now it's 2 weeks ago, they went to Japan and Korea, and they are back now. And 43 members, young members of our New Jersey church, they went to Japan and Korea. I remember how it started, like in New Jersey, how do we get this goal? We were trying to send 12 people, 12 members of our young members to Japan and Korea. And then one day, we invited Dr. Kim to speak here. And then while we were having our breakfast, he asked about us, what are you doing and how are you doing? Then we said, Dr. Kim, last year we sent 4 people. This year we want to multiply that 3 times and send 12 people. We thought that's great goal and we will do that and then present it to him. And then Dr. Kim said, that's too small. You have to make 36. And said, wow, oh my God, that is too much. But our witnessing leader, Mr. Takino, said, we will do it, Dr. Kim. And then we said, okay, we will do it. And finally, we were able to bring 43 of our, wasn't that great? And I really want to appreciate Mr. Takino for really cheerleading that, really leading that whole area. And I could see if he wasn't the one, I don't think we would make that much. And I really want to, let's give one more big round of applause to Mr. Takino and the whole entire CARP and witnessing team. They were working very hard with him. They had true unity. And we had a core group of young second-gen members and first-gen members working together to achieve that goal. And that's why we were able to bring this success. And not only them, I know all of you worked. And I feel so proud that I was able to be part of that. Even though I couldn't go there, I was there in spirit and we contributed financially. And we all together, we prayed, and that's why we were able to send them there and we were able to have them back. And today I want to welcome, I know not every one of you, of the participants here. Would you like to stand up? And please stand up. Let us welcome all of you. And I want, please, and I want to show that video. I want to welcome Mr. Takino here, and he want to show you, present you a video. Mr. Takino, please, could you come up? And he will explain how it went through, and he want to show a video also, okay?
Good morning. It's a little bit different spirit. Good morning. Yeah, much closer to our spirit. Okay. Yes. We had a good experience. Every single one of our youth members receiving God's love and the love from true mother and true father. And when they come back, they have some commitment to how they can contribute to local our community, right? Yeah. Okay. Right? Yes. Okay. So, unfortunately, the Takafumi, president CARP of the NJIT and the vice president of the Keisetsu, and also the Yasutaka-kun, they're not here because they're still Japan and also EPEC. And Tatsuya-kun, you have to be here. No. Yeah, okay. And so then I like to know that, so when they come back, we like to share more testimonies. Every single of us have a great experience. They like to share the testimony. So, but today only 3 people would like to share the testimony. Before that, I like to show the video that they had every day. They practice, like to give the best gift for true mother. So I like to please enjoy our show. we really appreciate all your parents and the community support. Thank you very much. So we are actually from New Jersey, myself and this Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Bond help as a parents. So please welcome Mr. and Mrs. Bond. Okay. So today I like to actually, this is our appreciation, and we like to actually, we have many good stories, but I like to give the 3 stories, and yes. So let's, please welcome Miss Elisa McMahon.
Hi, everyone. So I just want to say a little bit about my experience on the CARP trip. First of all, I think this experience was very eye-opening because I got to dive deep into the roots of where I came from and really understand more about my parents' heart and why exactly they raised me the way that they did. And I also gained perspective on this trip because I got to see things from the J-CARP and K-CARP members' point of view as well. So it's beautiful to fight for a world of peace, but better when you're familiar with those you're fighting for. And the fact that we could, have faces and names who I feel like I'm fighting for, I feel like that is so powerful to have. In addition, on this trip, I was able to see a lot of the church's history up close. For example, we got to see the palace that True Mother lives in, which has the original items from Father's early journey, such as the table and lantern, the table he used to write the original DP, as well as his prison uniforms and things like that. So we were really immersed in the history of this church and of True Father's past. And we got to visit the house that True Father lived in, and it was really motivating to see that he came from such humble beginnings as well, to where he built the entire church, basically from nothing. And a lot of things I experienced on this trip made me dive deep and question my faith as well, which is great because I want whatever foundation I stand on to be a strong one. And lastly, we had a rally at the DMZ, which was really raw and moving. And it's easy to try to imagine a distant Korea, so separate from us, but once we went there and prayed for peace, their problems felt like our problems. And we felt like one. All in all, this experience was once in a lifetime, and I want to thank everyone who supported us and made it possible to go. Thank you.
Before we have our next person, Edwina, why you are here? You have to be here. Please welcome Edwina. She is actually the one who also went to there. I don't want anybody to leave alone. So we all together one. Yeah, he doesn't want to hesitate to go. Okay, so next person is Yasuharu-kun. Please welcome Yasuharu-kun.
Hello, everyone. So yesterday I had some negative thoughts going in my head, like why do I need to give a testimony or those kind of things. I was ranting to my mom, but Mom, I'm ready. So, yeah, basically this Hyeojung trip was really meaningful to me. There were a lot of great experiences out there, and one of my biggest highlight was both meeting True Mother as well as going to my Japan trip in Sendai. But I don't have time to share every one of my stories, so just gonna be going through my 3-minute testimony. So basically, the first 2 days of our Hyeojung trip, we were able to experience some lectures by our wonderful Reverend Nakamura, or from our True Parents Life Course lectures from our Reverend Kachi. So for me personally, I went to Reverend Kachi's lectures, and he was talking about True Parents Life Course based off of DP. And personally for me, I was really inspired by it because I guess the one thing I really liked about him was I guess talking about the amount of sacrifice which Father had to bring about, especially offering up a lot of his children for our mistakes. And to me personally, it made me realize a lot of how much his life compared with Jesus' life course. And to me personally, I question it a lot, like, even if the Messiah is here, why is it so hard to follow him 100%? Why do we have so much ignorance in our minds, just not being able to follow him when he's just trying to bring about a world of peace? So, because of Reverend Kachi's lecture, not only did I sympathize with him, but I realized personally for me, if I don't give my 100% to bring about a world of peace, or just really trying to unite with Father, I can't really make God happy, my family happy, or everyone else happy in this world. So because of Reverend Kachi, I'm personally able to say, Father, I love you. Because I went to a lot of lectures. I've been to a lot of 40-day workshops in Chonpyeong, and a lot of other workshops in like Camp Sunrise, and heard a lot of lectures, but Prince, for me, I think Reverend Kachi's lecture was one of the best ones. I do recommend a lot of people to listen to him. So then, after Reverend Kachi's lecture, I was so inspired, and I wanted to meet your mother so quickly, just really try to embrace her, right? So we were at this luncheon. We had these amazing, expensive dinner, which I was really grateful for. But the moment she walked in, I just couldn't stop smiling. My heart was just like beating, hey, that's my mom, you know? And when she started talking, I was basically in awe in a way. The one sentence she was saying was, you know, I heard rumors that my smile or my laughter was worth millions and millions of dollars. And personally for me, I'm like, yeah, it is. And I want to see that smile and laughter every single day. And because of that, first for me, I was able to understand Reverend Kachi's lecture of really trying to offer myself up 100%. We're trying to devote my life more towards this movement and towards your parents. So, yeah, thanks so much.
Next, I'd like to invite Chang Woo.
Good morning. I guess what I want to talk about specifically is one, I guess like meeting with your mother, and I really want to like elaborate on what I thought afterwards. I was thinking a lot about our visit with her, and I think in the past I visited your mother a lot, or I've seen her a lot, and but this time I was much like more ready to receive her words, I think, and I was much more prepared. And before she spoke, actually, someone talked about all the events that she's been holding in Africa and also all over the world, and all these rallies that she's really working towards. And what I really appreciated was how big her vision is for the world, and how much she really wants a world peace to happen. And she, in 2020, she feels is too late. She wants things to happen now and very quickly. And I feel that I really felt her heart of like wanting to do more and more for this movement. And I think that obviously her being your mother, she's very attuned with God's heart, and I feel like her spiritual senses are very powerful. And I think when I look around at other second gen sometimes, I feel like we're very insensitive to this kind of pain and suffering that God feels every day. And I think that we as second gen and just members of the world, we need to feel more of God's heart of pain and suffering, and how each second, minute, and hour of our day can really impact the world and the future. And I think the more we recognize that we stand on the foundation of 2,000 years, and in 2,000 years people will be standing on the foundation that we're setting today. And I think just in general there'd be a much bigger sense of urgency if a lot of second gen recognize this kind of pain and suffering that God and Heavenly Parents go through every day. I guess one moment one thing I want to recognize as well is like how guilty I feel in terms of not helping out or being very selfish in terms of my life of faith, I feel that I've taken so much from this movement and not given anything back. So I guess that's one thing that I really realized as well in meeting True Mother. And I really want to be able to give in these coming years I am with NJIT Carp, and also being part of the community and my family as well. And one person that I met during the, one of the many people I met during this carp trip was Joshua Holmes. If you've been watching the weekly updates, he was the guy that was like screaming at the DMZ. But he was my group leader, and I had a lot of conversations with him. And one conversation I had was he really feels that the world is in a critical condition, and that second gen are in a very we were born at a very critical point in history, and we were at a big turning point. And he truly believes that if second gen don't really step up and really take action and utilize the resources we have, then the world is on the brink of destruction. And he really feels that obviously God's will is very powerful, and that anything He wills is possible. But it truly rests on the responsibility of human beings, and especially second gen, who are at the forefront and the front line of everything we're trying to do. So I really feel that I want to take this motivation and understanding that I have from everyone that I met during the workshop, and really bring it to my family, my individual progress, as well as my campus community, and eventually the world. Thank you.
So this is not the one and the last time that we want to share our testimony, and especially support parents who support us and the community. Without your support, prayer, we can't do that. So we really appreciate that. We like to show our appreciation, the gratitude to all community members. So when Takafumi and Keisetsu and Yasutaka-kun come back, then we like to have more this kind of the appreciation, parent appreciation, and the testimonies. I asked the Pastor Manoj. So, okay. And we have a small gift. So before you leave this chapel, we have a small gift. Please take it. That's one of the true father's favorite candy. So thank you very much.
When I am done and all my soul so weary,
When troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
there is no life without its hunger.
Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think my dreams eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise
Today's reading from May You Blossom, My Beloved. Large numbers of spirits entered the body of each person. The spiritual work at Cheongpyeong remove these spirits, and beams of light treated by the true parents guide those spirits, enabling them to ascend upward from hell in the spirit world. Anyone is able to follow those beams of light. Good spirits are all able to do that. I'm opening the path whereby they will be able to ascend. I'm completely removing those walls and conditions, opening doors of liberation. Because of that, spirits are able to go to the kingdom of heaven in a short time. Now, because many people are contacting evil spirits and are suffering harm, we must completely sever this connection and sweep away all the evil spirits. Through the fall of Adam's family, it became an evil family. We must do the spiritual work of recreating our ancestors. We must make our families that are in the position of good archangels. We are entering the age of liberating and giving the blessing to those in the spirit world. We're giving many blessings of enormous value. True Mother's words on True Father, Reverend Sun Myung Moon's 1,000-day memorial in Las Vegas. So as we are celebrating the 1,000-day memorial of True Father, I really hope that all of you will be able to liberate your ancestors in the spirit world. We need to liberate up to 420 generations of our ancestors. The spirit world has, until this point, followed the fall. It has taken 6,000 biblical years to get to this moment. What a long period of time. The spirit world is filled with fallen history. The fallen people do not know God's providence, but thanks to the true parents, we have received the marriage blessing, and as blessed families, are you aware of the providence, or are you ignorant of the providence? If you are aware of it, my hope is that all of you can liberate all of your ancestors and lead them to the marriage blessing. And I hope that you can accomplish this mission of making your ancestors absolute good spirits. This is the responsibility that you have been blessed with as a blessed families. Do you understand? This is why we need to expand the good spiritual heavenly sphere, and we need to do this by increasing the people who are on the side of God, the people who are living centered on true parents. This is our blessing, our responsibility. Depending on whether we accomplish this responsibility or not, True Father can expand his influence all over the world and be more active around the world. You said when you were married. If you do not do so, you will not be able to mobilize the angels or summon your ancestors. We are pulling people out of hell. Angels have been sent to pull them out. Adju.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, already 20 seconds of my 15-minute message are up. You know, True Mother's coming. True Mother's coming. So we want to be ready for True Mother. You know, this CARP team is really beautiful because they remind us of the energy that we want to have, right? And also when we hear these testimonies, especially this point about being able to welcome Mother or understand or appreciate Mother based on how much we invest in advance, right? So even though we all gave our lives maybe in the 70s or 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, we need to be up to date, right? To be ready, right? Yeah. So I hope everybody can have this kind of vibration that the young CARP students have right now, don't you think? Yes. Otherwise, when they come home, we're going to slow them down. Do we want to slow them down? No, right? So Takino-san's right. You know, we have to match their energy. Is that right? Woo! So let's give these guys a big round of applause. Louder, louder, louder. Okay, so we are not alone. I want to just give you a short message about the incredible reality of spirit world, physical world, and the incredible providence of Cheongpyeong. I'm just going to give you a short message on that. Why? Because True Mother's sending her team here, and they're coming to New York first. They're coming to our sub-region first, as you know, at the end of the month, for Spirit Fest, a 2-day tent revival for ourselves, our families, and our ancestors. But it's a strange thing in the West because we're not so used to it. Although now it's becoming very popular to do DNA tests, which I've done. And, you know, I have an account on Ancestry.com. I'm kind of really fascinated by genealogy. I've always had a sense that your ancestors affect you. But much more than even just your ancestors, we're surrounded by spirits. We seriously are not alone. So the question is, who do we want to be surrounded with? Good people? Yeah. I was trying to give this analogy yesterday to my wife. Help me out. Tell me if this is crazy. My wife said this doesn't make any sense. But you work in a hospital, right, Naomi? So you have to take care to protect people from, you know, diseases, spreading diseases, right? So for example, in the home, if somebody's sick in the home, you want to contain that, right? It's not like you go around sucking up everybody's sneezes and coughs, right? Oh, achoo. Let me grab some of that, right? We're not germ hunters, right? We avoid it, is that right? And yet, the germs that we can't see, we believe they're there because doctors tell us they're there and we see the results. Well, the same is true for the spirit world, okay? And so today, I will show you a short video that the entire sub-region is going to watch, even though I'm sorry, it's me in the video, but the point is, the entire theme of today for the entire sub-region is this. We want everybody in the sub-region to register for our joint revival Spirit Fest at the end of July. And for those of you that have other arrangements, you can join the one in Washington following up in August, beginning of August. But we're actually going to have you all register today. Is that okay? Raise your hand if you already registered. Okay, so you guys are all staff to help everybody else that didn't register today before we leave this room, actually. But let me give you a reason. Let me give you a little bit of a reason. So first of all, you know, my wife and I, we really relied on Chungpyeong a lot because we lived 3 hours from the closest church. When we started our family, there's a lot of feedback if you can diminish it. When we started our family, we lived in Italy, and we had to drive from a place called Umbria, where St. Francis of Assisi made his ministry. It took us 3 hours to get to church on Sunday, and another 3 hours to get back. It was kind of exhausting. And even then, you didn't really feel like you were on the front line. And so we used to fly to Chungpyeong frequently, and we needed it, didn't we, honey? I mean, we really needed the support, the spiritual atmosphere. And raise your hand if you've been to Chungpyeong. It's beautiful. There's many more coffee shops there now than there were when we first went. You drink more coffee than anything else, but I think when you drink the coffee, you're being cleansed, so it's good. I want to just share a short story. So I was living in Italy with my wife, and she visited Chungpyeong for a 21-day workshop. It's a Blessed Wise workshop. And she was there in the prayer hall one evening, and it was like the beginning of her workshop. And she noticed a sister sitting ahead of her just about 6 places on the next aisle. And for some reason, she was paying attention to the back of this sister's head. She couldn't tell which country she was from, but she was drawn to her. And then my wife heard a voice, and this voice said, "Go and say hi to that sister after the prayer." So my wife did that. She went and said hi to this sister, who turned out to be Japanese, but apparently she didn't really look Japanese. She had curly hair. And she told her, "Look, I'm saying hi because I heard a voice saying I should say hi to you. I don't know why, but she said hi." And this sister started to pour out her situation. Turns out that she was married to a man from Ghana, so she lives in Africa. And she was extremely, it's a poor family, and so poor, in fact, that they would eat wild mice. That was like their main meal, was to catch wild mice and cook them. A very poor family. And also very spiritually kind of poor as well. There was a lot of complications within the family. And this sister had become very sick, like extremely sick, a very severe form of diabetes. And the district leader of that area basically collected some money to send. They didn't know what to do with her, okay? And Changpyeong, at this point, we already had a hospital. We could take care of spiritual problems, mental problems, physical problems. So it was a good idea to send her there. But this sister was so sick. You know, she met with Daemonim at the time. And Daemonim said, you are paying an inordinate amount of indemnity from your ancestors and your husband's ancestors. And this is not normal. You really are, I'm glad you're here because you're really sick. Your diabetes is going to affect you to the point of either losing your eyesight or possibly losing your legs. And so Daemonim, pleaded to her, please stay here, please liberate your ancestors. This sister was visiting the hospital every day and just getting sicker and sicker, actually. Her eyes were yellow, her face was yellow, and Yumiko was really startled by her appearance. And as she's sharing her story, she's crying. I mean, I don't know if you were crying, honey, but the sister was crying, sharing her story. Because it turns out, really, nobody had asked her. And it turns out that she wasn't even praying for a miracle. Can you believe that? She was in the right place to pray for a miracle, but she had given up hope even to pray for a miracle. She was just there because she didn't know what else to do. And it was the only thing left for her. So she was there in the prayer hall sharing this story with my wife. My wife really took it to heart and tried to support her. I think over the next couple of days built a little bit of a relationship to hear more depth about her story. So anyway, here you have a sister who is from Africa, essentially. She's a Japanese-African couple. There's a lot of physical and spiritual burden that she's dealing with, and she's in the right place. But she didn't have any money, actually, to fulfill her obligation or her responsibility on behalf of her ancestors and her husband's ancestors. This is the scenario. So we might be questioning, well, why can't we help her? Or how does all this work anyway? Or is it just a physical problem? Who knows, right? Daemonim, I had heard her say that 95% plus of all of our problems are born in a spiritual reality first. So whether we're dealing with a physical pain or mental problem or behavioral problem, anything is first caused in a spirit world. Both good and bad, actually, right? So we're not alone. We are influenced by spirit world all the time, but much more influenced by the spirits that are from our own lineage directly, okay? So, Yumiko and I had lots of experiences like this. This is just one story, but I want to tell you what happened. Anybody want to know what happened to this sister? You're probably thinking that, I'm going to tell you some miracle story that saved her eyes and saved her legs, right? Is that what you're hoping for? Yes. Oh, you're good people. Okay, so let me tell you the story, though. I was in Italy at this time. My wife was in, we were talking every day. And on one particular evening, I have this dream. I wake up from this dream. And I had this incredible dream. It's a nightmare, actually. In the dream, I was in this scene where there was a slave owner, but it looked like a black slave owner. Or anyway, maybe he's one of the people who was responsible to kind of, lead the slaves. And it was at nighttime, and we were going to this large grave, and he was pushing black people into this grave. I mean, this is a nightmare. I don't know, there's kids below the age of a certain age. I'm sorry, I'm giving you the PG version. But it was a very scary dream that I woke from. I woke up wondering, is this my answer? What's going on? And it was interesting, because when you were in Korea, honey, I was having spiritual experiences all the time, and we would kind of share notes. Anyway, so she calls me that evening, and she wants to share, I have something very important to share with you. And I said, well, hang on, I have something to share with you first. I need to get it off my chest. I had this kind of scary dream. So I shared with Yumiko about this dream. And she said, I know what that is. Let me share with you what's going on. So she shared with me very quickly what had transpired over the last couple of days with this sister. And it turns out that this sister, wanted to liberate all of her lines, but didn't have the money. And my wife felt like, she went there with about $2,500, $2,500 to liberate and bless some more of our ancestors. But my wife had this feeling that, we should help her, this Japanese sister that was really struggling. And so when she was calling me, she was basically calling me to say, you know, look, honey, I know I'm here to liberate our ancestors, but I met this sister and it seems really serious. I'd like to know if we can help her. I mean, she already wanted to do it. She was just telling me, basically. And I said, look, you know, after I shared with her the dream, I mean, it was clear. I probably didn't need the dream. I would have united with my wife since. But my wife we decided to liberate. And I think she was able to do, you know, because of her situation, they were also able to somehow accelerate, go through the red tape, and make sure that during the time she was there, she was able to liberate and bless up to the maximum amount at that time. Okay? And so Yumiko gave everything we had to help her, all right? Now, what happened next was she started to get better, actually. She started to have incredible experiences. And in the next liberation that she had, there was, you know, the ancestor liberation, you kind of hold the hand, and we're just physically here, but they guide you to imagine and see the ancestors that are with you. And many people give testimony about seeing their ancestors. Turns out, as is doing the ancestor liberation, there's one man with about 3 or 4 other men, black men, comes to her in the room as she's standing there. Come and stand next to her as clearly as you see me. And this man was saying to her, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was me. I'm the one who's organizing the infliction upon you. I was causing your pain. I was causing your disease. She's like, you know, she doesn't know who these people are. They're the ancestors of her husband. She's inheriting. We inherit everything from both lines. We're responsible as a team, right? So she's actually paying the price even more than her husband for her husband's lineage, actually. And so this group of black African brothers standing around her saying thank you and then going, she had a continuous experiences like this where she would meet them again and again and then see them going off, okay? These types of, this is just the short version, right? But this is real stuff. I can give you so many more testimonies. You can buy books about testimonies. Many of you have incredible testimonies. So the truth is what happened to this sister is from that day she got better and better. And she kept her eyes. She kept her legs. Maybe we should clap for her. But not just that, you know, she went to the hospital again and again to get checkups, and the doctor was amazed because he couldn't find any trace of diabetes. She completely healed herself. And I'm sure all of the other physical work, it's good for you actually, you know, prayer is good for you. And Chanyang is good for you physically, you know, drinking good water and exercise and walking up and down. Everything's a part of the experience at Cheongpyeong, of course. However, her way was completely blocked. The power of spirit world is affecting me constantly. My choice is whether or not I want good spirit world to affect me or not. And I won't go through today all of my testimony about that, my personal testimony, my family's testimony. But I've had many experiences up until including, I think many of you heard, I shared with you my story, you know, doing tribal messiahship. And each of my children saw my grandparents, you know, spiritually, working with us, guiding us, telling us where to go and what to do. And, you know, many second gen have this type of experience. So spirit world is a reality. We're just the dumb ones that don't see it, actually, you know? And so this is a real thing. We are not alone, and we choose the people that we live with. We think we only have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 family members in the house, and we think that if somebody has a cold or a cough or a, you know, fever, we can kind of quarantine them by not sucking up all of their coughs and sneezes. But the truth is there's much more than just the 5 or 6 people in the home. We're living with thousands of people. So who do you want to live with? You know, when you rent a room or you share a house with somebody, you're really particular about it, aren't you? But our houses are houses to millions and billions of spirits. So this is a real thing, a real thing. I know it's not something we talk about all the time in Western culture, but it's a real thing. So I'm really grateful that True Mother is sending her top team over here to help us. And we're going to do what we can to make it awesome. And we're going to gather in Belvedere. It's going to be a big tent. And we are going to have some music. Koichi called me the other night, Cynthia, and said, you know, hey, do you think we can do like an Apple Heaven dance party at the end? And I said, yes, exactly. That's what we want to do. And that's why I decided to call it Spirit Fest. So you got Family Fest with lots of hot dogs and bouncy castles for the kids. Well, now you've got Spirit Fest for the families and their ancestors. Is that something you like the sound of? The point is that we are incredibly blessed. This is a grace from our true parents. Do you know what the condition is in order to be able to liberate and bless your ancestors? We make what do you call it, like a devotional offering, right? Do you think that's the condition that allows the ancestors to be blessed or liberated or spirits to be liberated? No. The condition to liberate the spirit world was true parents. True parents made the conditions to be able to do that. Our tiny contribution to that is showing up, and also our devotional offering for that. It's a tiny percentage of the conditions that were made to be able to really clean ourselves, liberate our ancestors. I've seen them. I'm a crazy Westerner. I'm a drummer, but also I have my ancestors' names on my wall close to my prayer table. I talk to them sometimes and think about them. I'm really grateful to them to have my life. Aju? So that's all I wanted to share. I actually want to show you a short video. I've mentioned a couple of the points, but I'm going to show you a short video so that you can feel in complete harmony with the entire Northeast region. So this is the video that they're going to play in their churches today. Go ahead and roll that tape. Thank you. Hey guys, Damien here, and I just wanted to give you a message directly today. It's a very special day. Let me explain. First of all, at the beginning of this year, for the very first time in my life, I sat down for breakfast with our true mother. And in this meal, apart from feeding us really well, she gave us two very clear directives. She said, number one, we need to liberate our ancestors up to 420 generations. Number two, we need to bless our tribe up to 430 families. Recently in Japan, she put it really beautifully when she said, the more we bless people, the greater the blessing becomes. Simple. So with that in mind, I want to ask you today to do two things. Number one, right now today, I want you all to sign up for Spirit Fest. That's 28th and 29th of July here at Belvedere. Number two, I want to ask you to commence with us the 400 Miracles condition. This is a prayer condition for the next 120 days, all right? Okay, let me explain. First of all, Spirit Fest, what's that? True Mother is sending her top staff from Changpyeong on an ancestor liberation and blessing tour of the United States, starting right here in Belvedere in New York. And I want to ask all of you to attend that, together with your families, your children as well. This is a 2-day Spirit Fest revival for ourselves and our ancestors. Now, a small number of you may feel that this doesn't really apply to you. For example, maybe you're thinking that, I've already blessed so many ancestors, I've done enough of that. Or maybe you're thinking that it's not quite your cup of tea. Either way, I still want you to come. I know that it takes some effort, it does, but this is really healthy for us, both physically and spiritually, and more than that, it's a great condition for us to offer and create the foundation for True Mother, who's coming in November. That's right, and more on that in a moment. This is the official gathering for our entire sub-region on the 28th and 29th. There will be no other Sunday services going on anywhere throughout the Northeast. Got questions? No problem. We can get to that later. What we want you to do right now is register today. In fact, we've converted your sanctuary into the registration room like the basement at Changpyeong. That's right. Right now, we want you to register on your phones, on your computers. If you have to, on a piece of paper, there's going to be staff there to help you. Okay, now I want to tell you about our 400 Miracles condition. It is now 120 days until November 11th. That's right, 120 days from today until November 11th. So what do people like us do with a number like 120? You guessed it, let's make a condition. Okay, this is the 400 Miracles condition. So what should we make this condition about? How about we make it in line with True Mother's Vision 2020 and our sub-regional goals? That's right. Did you know we actually have a strategy and goals? We got together with all the pastors and came up with specific goals across every area of our 2020 strategy for Foundation Day 2019. Based on this, we've boiled it all down to 4 simple points that we can pray for and achieve together. Okay, ready? Get out your notebooks. Here are the prayer points. 1. Protection for our True Mother and victory for our November Revival Rally. 2. 70 victorious Heavenly Tribal Messiahs. 3. 210 influencers or John the Baptists blessed. 4. 120 young leaders under 40 working with us on our leadership team. Now, if you do the math and add all these numbers up together, it actually comes to 400. That's why we're calling it the 400 miracles condition, because we're going to be praying and realizing these 400 miracles by Foundation Day 2019. Okay, so let's just take another moment to soak all of this in. First, we're going to sign up right now today for Spirit Fest. And 2, we're going to ask you to join us for 400 miracles condition for the next 120 days. I'm sure True Mother is going to be so happy to hear that we're taking this really seriously. Thank you, and God bless you. Have a great week. So, we want to invite you and your family. When we were in Korea, we lived in Korea for a while, we'd take the kids. Timothy was really good at it. We'd have to buy him a little toy every day to keep him, inspired. But he would be there doing the Chanyang. And so the kids can do it, it doesn't matter. And if you have a baby, you want to participate with your baby too. I don't think dogs are allowed. But maybe. So, okay, I want to invite up the dedicated team that's going to help you. First of all, everybody that already registered is part of the staff today. So hands up if you have a cell phone. Bob? You have a cell phone. This is all we need to register. Okay? Did we register yet, honey? I think we did. Otherwise, I'd do it right now with you. So get your cell phone ready, and I want to introduce Erica and her team. They're going to help us register today. I know many of us may have questions about, where are our records, or many kinds of questions. No problem. We're going to be able to get to all of that. But first, we need to know how to register. And we're also ordering some food for the day, so we need to know how many people are coming. But I already know how many people are coming. Everybody raise your hand? No, everybody raise your hand? Some people are really lazy. Everybody who's sitting down in a pew today is coming. Gotcha. So, Eriko-san, please come up. Please give Eriko a round of applause. Please bring your team. Yeah, please everybody stand up so they can see who's going to be helping them.